Members of Hamilton's Indigenous community calling on the city's police tonight to investigate whether one of their own officers committed a hate crime against an Indigenous man, and they're calling for sweeping changes in the police force to counter what they describe as racism and discrimination. Al Sweeney reports.
Olga Tomchuk says her son Patrick still feels pain from when he was arrested by the Hamilton police in late May with a police boot on his neck.
The police officer had his foot on the back of his neck.
Members of the Indigenous community say the arrest is another example of racism throughout Canada and in the Hamilton police that leads to violence against Indigenous people.
Police brutality and police oppression, abuse of power have all contributed to challenges for Indigenous people.
They're making a series of recommendations for change in the Hamilton police, including police body cams and dashboard cameras, and an investigation into whether the police officer's actions in Patrick Tomchuk's arrest constituted a hate crime. They also want an Indigenous advisor to the police and an Indigenous seat on the police board.
Then our voice is there. Our voice is there, and our worldview is being represented.
The call for change follows Tomchuk's arrest in May on the Hamilton Mountain during a police stolen vehicle investigation. After the arrest, Constable Brian Wren was charged with assault. Tomchuk's family says that wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for the video.
Patrick just laid there while the cop put his foot on his neck. And it's a good thing there was a civilian, another woman there, taping all this.
At this point, it's troubling that we had saw the video, and I'm not comfortable with what we saw.
Hamilton Police Chief Frank Bergen says Tomchuk isn't cooperating, and they don't know whether a hate crime was committed in his arrest. But he says he's working on things like police dash cams and on talking to the Indigenous community.
I reached out to the community because we need to talk about this. We need to have an understanding, but we also have to hold our members, and I hold myself, accountable for when we do things poorly.
This time there was proof.
Patrick Tomchuk's sister, mother, and friends say he's been assaulted by police before.
They're Hamilton police, and they're here to protect and serve. Okay, if you're here to protect and serve, don't do this to my son, please.
So the video of the arrest isn't being released. Tomchuk and Constable Wren both have court dates coming up.